INEC'S transparency and independence the way forward. And there is no better way that Banky W puts it. We all need to be a part of the change we want to see in our country. It shouldn't be left for the governments or individuals, but we should all be a part of our country's development. So we're still discussing the same topic. We have Liborous Oshoma to give his own aspect of this very issue. So before we get him on stage to give his own aspect of it, let me quickly give you a brief rundown of his bio. Liborous Oshoma, or Liborous as he is fondly called, is a leading public interest human rights lawyer, publicist, law reporter, legal commentator, advocate for good governance, policy analyst, essayist, and the current vice chairman of Human Rights Commission of the African Bar Association. He has written several articles on law, human rights, democracy, and development-related issues in various print media, and is currently a regular contributor on the very famous television program, The Advocate. And he is also a fellow of the Institute of Management Consultants, a doctoral fellow of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management, and a fellow of the prestigious African Institute of Public Administration. Please put your hands together as I welcome Liborous Oshoma.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Esther. Esther and I have come a long way. When she was in Galaxy TV, I knew her then as a young girl. Today, she's, thank you for the opportunity to be here. I was just chatting with somebody just now. I said, "Inside this rain?" I said, yes, because my word is my bond. I had promised Pastor Seni long ago that I was going to be here. Even when I took ill, sometimes last week, he visited me at home. And I am very, very appreciative. And so I told myself that come rain, come shine, I must be here. We're discussing, the keynote speaker had broken it down. And like Banky W said, I just felt after his speech that we should just say the grace and go. But he didn't touch on the area of INEC. And so I felt, so there's something left for me to talk. So I'll wait a little bit to talk about INEC and then leadership. Because he dwells so much on leadership, political leadership, and what the church is not doing. On that part, really, I think it's a Nigerian thing. It's not really a church thing. The people waiting to steal in Nigeria are more than those stealing. People waiting to steal truly are more than those stealing. And that's why, Pastor, if you are appointed today, forget the fact that you're a pastor, you are appointed today by this government, your primary school classmates that you have forgotten, that's when you know that they are alive. They will take paid adverts to celebrate you. And then the next thing would be proposals will be flying to your office. Pastor, it's our turn. Don't waste this opportunity. It's our turn now. Your family members will not allow you to rest. Everybody will be on your neck. Nobody will be bothered about repairing anything. Just like Chief Osawari Benedio told his son, you can't fix Edo State that Bemudia could not fix. So don't deceive yourself. You will be shocked that your parishioners will tell you that, look, Pastor, look, forget, this is the time for you to empower us. Empowerment. And then prayers will be flying around. And heaven bless you. You say, no, I want to walk, I want to construct road, I want to do drainages. You leave office without stealing. That day, your house will be deserted. Your children, people you call brothers, they say, look, I got my friend, get out of here. Your father got to office. What did he do for us? Who helped? So it's all of us So, and I quite appreciate the guest speaker talking about the church coming together. That is why they can't come together. That is why they can't come together, because you find out that it is about me. We don't have a common value. Look, if we have a common value, whether you are a Christian or a Muslim, and we galvanize our ideas and orientation towards that common value, you won't need to be a Christian to know that in promotion of this common value, I don't need to do this, and that. I am from the same area with Oshoma. I was on TV recently and I took on Oshoma. I shredded him to pieces. And my problem was this simple. Coming from, sorry, I will go into INEC very soon. I just needed to lay a brief background on our attitude towards leadership. Coming from the background of labor, a worker, one would have expected that the moment you became governor, national chairman of party, it is not to build a 2 billion naira house that will be your problem, but to build cottage industries in the community that will create jobs and people will be employed. But no, Oshoma built a house. No industry apart from university. Those universities, people go to school finish, where they go work. At the end of the day, I was in Ilorin and I visited Saraki, Baba Oloye, his former house. It's under lock and key. Under lock and key. And so when I finished, I said, look, at the end of the day, Benson Alegbe, former Speaker of Bender State House of Assembly, his house is now occupied by cockroaches and lizards. After the TV program, they started calling me from Abuja. Oshoma is your brother. Even if you have to criticize somebody, not him. I said, charity begins at home. So let us start from our own brother. You know, so that's the mentality. Criticize the other, don't criticize your own. So during election, the guest speaker talked about government being powerful after God. We really don't understand what government is. You are not a human being, or if government says you are not a human being. You are not educated if government says you are not educated. You are not even born if they say you are not born. That's how powerful government is. While you are born, they ask you for birth certificate. Who issues it? You go to school, give you a certificate to say you are educated. No matter, my grandfather asked my brother there, who will be in a farm, and Emeritus came and said, Daddy, what do you do? He says, a pensioner. I said, where do you work before? He said, I train my children and now they send me money. I'm a pensioner. But if you look at it, he's truly a pensioner. But because government did not give him a certificate that is a pensioner, he's not a pensioner. So you are not educated until they give you that certificate that you're educated. And you can't even own a company, even a church, until they say you have registered and they give you a certificate, which you proudly put somewhere and say, this is my certificate of incorporation, issued by somebody. At the end of the day, the people that are going to take this decision, you don't even know how they get there. And if you go to the world level, you see Okada riders, you see Keke Napep riders, you see Igbo smokers, they will come for meetings. And then when they choose, like Chief Aneni used to say in Benin then, the only word is loyalty. And he will say it in local language, onoma lawyer or deal lawyer. Do you know the meaning? If you are not lawyer, you go chop suffer. So the only language is loyalty. Is he lawyer? Femi Falana was to be appointed Attorney General. He had gone through, I'm giving you privileged information, he has gone through DSS screening. And the only question that disqualifies him is he lawyer? It's not loyal. Can't control this guy. And they threw him overboard Baba, for 1 month, he didn't come to office. And so, loyalty is to them. That's the kind of leadership. And so, when I watched, I sat down during the last election, I sat down with Peter Obi for about 4 hours. And I asked him, what's your strategy? He said he want Nigerian to take the process. I say, Baba, you never start. Because everybody that is following you, everybody has their interest too. It is until you will win that you see those interests. Taking back Nigeria. So that's where we need to first start from. Be participants. I've attended ward meetings. If you see what they discuss there. And then this now brings me to the umpire, INEC. And that's why I had to lay foundation that you are not educated except government says you are. You are not even a graduate until they say, yes, you have graduated. INEC, the man that will conduct the election is the umpire. If you know the powers of the Independent National Electoral Commission in our laws, even if you do not participate in the election, once INEC says, by the power conferred on me, the returning officer says, by the power conferred on me, I hereby declare this woman as the winner. Until recently, Section 66 gives powers to the commission to review within 7 days. That stands. The only people that can change it is go to court. So, the people that appoint the people that will conduct that election are the politicians. There was an interview granted by Donald Duke in 2010. He called it How We Rig Election. These people you call Resident Electoral Commissioner, REC, they wreak havoc at the state level. And a resident electoral commissioner, they say you must, in appointing a resident electoral commissioner, in first and foremost, appointing the chairman of INEC, the president appoints. When APC were in opposition, ACN, 2010, there were agitations that no, if you remember, the president should not appoint who becomes chairman of INEC. That the political parties and stakeholders and judges, retired judges, should have a committee, and then you screen candidates, and then you recommend 3 to the president. Eventually, he would appoint 1. And then President Goodluck Jonathan said, well, I appointed Jega. I don't know him from Adam. Jega is a man of integrity. Let it be like that. But we forgot that Jega will leave office. So if you do not look at the process for appointing your chairman, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. So eventually Jega left. Buhari came, appointed his own nephew, no, even before Mahmoud, Buhari's niece, Amina, as acting chairman of INEC. They grew up together. Imagine your niece superintending the election that you are a candidate in. Former Deputy Senate President Omo Agege, the sister was a director in INEC when he won election to get there. How would you will win? So these are the people that will conduct election that you collect. Go and collect your PVC. Go and collect your PVC. The people who are conducting the election, you don't even know them. That's at the commission level. The chairman and the national commissioners, they are appointed by the president. They say they must not be partisan, screened by members of the National Assembly. And then you now come to the resident electoral commissioner. I will call names. Austin Okoje was once a resident electoral commissioner from Edo State, nominated by the strongman of Uromi politics, Aneni. I was the MC at his daughter's wedding. And there were some politicians then from PDP that came in, and he called me and said, please, Ogbesia is here. You introduce him as his excellency in waiting. I said, We have not even conducted election. You are an umpire in Benue State. You are asking me to introduce somebody as excellency in waiting. And you are supposed to be unbiased. He said, Barrister, leave that in. When his mother died, we went to his village. He told me, he said, you see, this house, I intentionally refused to complete it. Governors are going to come. So I will tell my governor, you see, your boy does not have a house. This is a resident electoral commissioner who is going to conduct election that the governor will be involved in. George Akume was a governor then. He was there. He called him, he held his hand. I knew that was what he was telling him. After that mother's burial, he completed his house. So when Donald Duke, so when these people are nominated, how are they nominated? Just like the guest speaker said, the man who owns the structure at the states will look at you and say, will Pastor be lawyer? He say, yes, it's our boy. He's been attending meetings. He's lawyer. It's okay. Are you sure he can do the job of rec? If we talk to him, he say, yeah, yes. Say, come, you will be the next rec. You say, thank you, daddy. Thank you, daddy. Thank you, daddy. Your family will celebrate. Say, they've given our son appointment to, they've selected you one person out of the lot. So you get there, you have distinguished yourself. You have policemen now. Your friends can no longer assess you. When they tell you, but Pastor, this was not what we used to do, you say you won't understand. You know, inside is not from the way you see it from outside. Your language will change. Because once you get there, the first thing they do, you are resident electoral commissioner, you are posted to a state, you are staff of funds. You get to the office, this place is too beautiful now. There are no seats. The governor comes and say, Rec, what can we do for you? Say, well, we need to. It's okay, don't worry. Chief of staff, come. Security votes. Give Rec some money to make sure they renovate the place. Thank you, Your Excellency. Election comes, ad hoc staff that will be recruited to conduct elections. The governor calls you and says, yes, you see, there are so many youths flying around that we need to empower. So these youths need job. These youths are members of the party at the state level. Just like Wike giving SSA to 200,000 people. Some of them will be INEC ad hoc staffs. To give the list to the resident electoral commissioner, they will appoint all of them as ad hoc staff who will go into the field to do the job and write results. That is the practical thing about conducting election. At the end of the day, by the power conferred on me, the man is declared winner. They say, go to court. You get to court. I've handled election petition. Proving irregularity is not a tea party. So I look at people. The Supreme Court had ruled consistently that, including the recent case in Oshoma, that for you to prove irregularity in an election, you need to prove polling unit by polling unit. And it must be the agent who was at the polling unit who saw the irregularities. And after the election, some of these agents, they've been compromised, because on the day of election also, mind you, somebody, I don't know if you people took note, on the day of election, somebody gave food to INEC officers. So somebody will cook food for them to eat. Somebody is in charge of logistics, the vehicle that we convey materials that will be used for election. INEC will tell you we can't keep vehicles except there is off-cycle election where we deploy everything from the federal. But if we're holding general election, we must have to collaborate. And it is a politician, not just in Lagos, it is everywhere. They say NUTROW. It is people, all those people are the politicians at the grassroots, at the world level. Who do you think attend meetings? It is those people that controls those bosses at the grassroots level that attend meetings. The same way it is in Lagos, that's the same way it is in Anambra, that's the same way it is in Borno. In 2015, the Resident Electoral Commissioner in Jigawa State had to track all of the vehicles. They were transporters vehicles, moving materials to various pulling unit, because what INEC also did was to create what they call rack centers. Rack centers, you take materials to rack centers on Thursday so that they will get to the pulling unit early on Saturday. But getting those materials to those places, INEC does not have the logistics. It is people. And those people are very important in the value chain. So that's why they say he who pays the piper dictate the tune. INEC also, we say, oh, let their what do you call it, budget be charged to the Consolidated Revenue Fund. But at the end of the day, they still go cap in hand to beg the National Assembly member. There's a chairman, Senate committee, House of Rep committee on INEC. When the INEC chairman needs second term, he will make negotiations. So at the end of the day, when you see them seated there, reeling out results, because at the end, what they did on the feed, for the court to upturn it, is usually a very tall order. You get there, they say proving irregularity, polling unit by polling unit. I handled election petition at the senatorial level, 6 local governments. The petitioner called 29 witnesses. I called only one. 29 witnesses. I called only one because of all the 29 witnesses, they were coming to say the same of, you have about up to 100, yeah, I'm almost done. Up to 100 polling units, and then you bring 29 witnesses. The court will say it's not substantial enough. That word also substantiality. So at the end of the day, when all you need to begin to explain is how the machine works. So all of these machines that we're talking about, INEC introduced. Let me also quickly, I must touch this because these are practical experience on the feed. And then INEC now comes and says, this is the card reader. What are we contesting? What are we disputing? That there is overvoting. That the card reader recorded 250 people, but in actual sense, 300 people voted. And the man comes and says, well, just like your ATM card can dispensing error. It can make and it won't give you money and you get alerts. I'm telling you. So, and what we need to do to get leadership right, apart from also joining political party, the essence of joining political party is also so that you will have a hand in determining who becomes chairman, resident electoral commissioners of INEC, because they play a key role in the electioneering management process. In Akwa Ibom, Mike Igini was resident electoral commissioner. We were in Akwa Ibom when the current Senate president, Akpabio, in the last 2019 election that he lost, he had INEC staffs hostage with materials, and I'm calling names, with materials and everything. The resident electoral commissioner, because the vehicles were tracked, he knew where they were. He called him, yeah, Your Excellency, please release my boys. I'm noticing that my vehicle is in the Senudim in your compound. He said, don't worry, I will release them very soon. But when we got to tribunal, he brought results from that place where he had boys hostage. But if not that the resident electoral commissioner was somebody of integrity who stood his ground and said, these documents were not signed by us, they would have been admitted in court. That was what happened in the case of Opus Odima. Because I was at the tribunal where the CSP presented 2 bags of materials not stamped by INEC, but they were admitted in evidence. So These are the challenges until you get involved in the leadership process to determine who conducts the election. The man who is the leader will get leaders from amongst themselves. And at the end of the day, you will just hold the PVC to vote between the devil and the deep blue sea. And you will consistently begin to complain about how bad it is. It is very bad, not even at the local level. So where we need to start from, solutions, is from the local level. And I also want to quickly touch on building a new political party. My brother, it's like building the Tower of Babel. Different languages. We all have different interests. Tinubu today didn't start this is Miloko just last 2 years. He started 30 years ago. 30 years ago. He started building it and moving gradually. And that's why he started, I listened to Murtala Iyako's son. He said when his father was governor in PDP, and PDP they ousted him and they were running rings around him, that Tinubu was the one that helped his father to escape. Not because he liked Nyako, because he would want to use him in future. That's what they do when politicians give you money, not because they want you. It's to curry your favor. You owe them in future. But in church here, when somebody, let me use the word, go astray, we condemn him. We condemn the person, he's a sinner, he's that. But the outside world, when you go astray, beer parlor, when you go astray, they go look for you. So, but we know they see you for beer parlor again. Waiting happen. So until we imbibe that attitude and bring everybody together, whether they're Okada riders or and those people who are the grassroots will form. If you can't send them there, the ones that are already there, you can also influence them and they become part of you. Thank you very much.